My name is Cynthia Novak, and welcome to The Planets and You. We're talking about July 2014. Happy birthday, USA. We're going to talk about the flow of the planets, the stress of the planets, and some of the scary things that have been going on in the world and in each of us. Right now, it's the very end of June, and surprise, Texas, we've had rain for several days. I feel like I'm in the tropics. Surprises are, in fact, part of the flow of the planets right now. So what are these planets and what do they mean? First of all, we have Pluto, deep, intense, transformation and change. He's been sitting here holding place or an opportunity for any one of us to jump into the great river of life and take a risk. The other planet holding his space has been Uranus, the promise of change, liberation. If you've had a Uranus transit, you feel it. You feel stress, and the only way you can get into the flow is literally to take a deep breath and breathe. Breathe, because there's so much going on. If you've got both of them, I'm not telling you anything that is new to you, except to say you're in the flow and you can help the rest of us bend and blow with it, much like a Buddhist bends with the blow of the breeze in the reeds. The third big planet has been Mars. Mars, the planet of intense anger, irritation, frustration. Mars wants to get going. And finally, Mars is moving forward. But for right now and through the 4th of July weekend, Mars is still in a really stressful aspect with these other two planets. Terrorism has been in the news. Terrorism is going on many places in the world. I don't think it's going to happen here, but there is no week more important to pay attention than the last days of June and the first week of July. I'm not telling you to be wary. I'm telling you to be aware of your situations. Turn off the internet or turn off the distractions. And if you feel someone crazy is around you, respond. Trust your inner feelings. Don't tune out. The fourth big placement has been Mercury. Mercury's been retrograde, and boy, has this Mercury retrograde been tied in with Mars. Even if you don't watch the news, there are people angry and irritated about so many things. I want to tell you a quick story that happened to us. We were walking down the street, and a young man in a car that was revved up to sound like it was going really fast when it wasn't went by. All I did was hold my hand out and look at him so he'd go around. I didn't know if he saw my neighbor and my husband walking the dog in front of the cars in front of me. He pulls ahead, the car stops, and back comes this guy. And he's got tattoos all over him and insignia on the car, and I'm thinking, what is this going to be about? And he looks at me and he said, "Was I driving too fast?" And I said, "No, I just didn't know if you saw them." So I held out my hand. And he said, "Well, I saw your faces, and your faces were all like this." And I said, "We were talking about what was involved in having to get a whole new air conditioning system right now." And he said, "Oh," and I said, "Thank you very much for asking." I said, "We all had different stories going on in our head." And he smiled, and now the story about this young man is how nice he was and how grateful we were that he stopped to ask. So I tell you, if you're mad about something or someone, stop and ask them what's going on. As Mercury goes forward, we have the entire month of July for plenty of activity and plenty of action in the good old USA. In fact, it should be really good for business, even better than it's been for some time. Summer retailers, pay attention. But the big news is Mercury goes direct July 1. The other important dates are on July 7th, the moon in the heavens, our perceptions, how we see or experience the world, appears to stop on Saturn. Saturn has literally been a great gift to us. He's beautifully placed, which simply means we can set a foundation and build for the future. Saturn is tied to the planet Venus. You may not think the goddess of love wants to be tied to an old curmudgeon like Saturn, but the two of them build relationships in a way where they can work together and plan a future. Another big day is July 22nd. In fact, that is when Uranus, that freedom planet, literally stops in the heavens and really pokes Saturn. If you've been trying to get something going, you've been waiting forever, you felt like you just couldn't get your thoughts together, July is the month for you to narrow it down and start to move it forward. In fact, I said it wrong. Uranus stops and moves backwards, and Saturn stops to go forward. And hello, Mercury retrograde. And as Saturn carries the plan forward, we can do it in a loving, positive way and come to the success that we've been trying to get to all this year. Another big day is July 12th, okay? I was talking about getting things going, but the planet Mars is going to tie into the eclipse path at that point. You'll feel a tremendous sense of wanting to get some area of your life in order and charge forward. That's because that eclipse path is moving to different zones from now into the next year from here. So think about from now all the way through 2015. And if you start with action on July 12th, if you move forward with a plan on July 22nd, by the time we get into August, you are ready for the success in the coming 18 months. So I don't know about you. I'm ready for Mercury retrograde to stop, and I'll see you in August.